Hey guys, what's happening? So we are back on another Nuketaku video, another One Punch Man related video, and Hunter x Hunter related, which is cool, apparently, according to the title. This is the genius of villains without motive, and I think it's going to be good, because I love bad guys that just do things for the sake of doing things. They don't have to have some sort of, reasoning for it. And one example I can think of, off the top of my head just now as I'm talking really fast, is The Dark Knight with Joker. Just literally just wanted to watch the world burn. Makes them unpredictable. You don't know what they're going to do, and I think that's more interesting than having someone that tells you why they're doing it and you kind of know in what direction they're going to go. So I think he's gone Garou from One Punch Man, who I'm really enjoying, by the way. I think Garou's amazing. And Meruem from Hunter x Hunter. So, yeah, let's get into this, shall we?
So I got into mad beef with another YouTuber
No
the
way.
other day.
No
Being
way.
that I'm loving One Punch Man
Yeah, man, it's amazing.
to its entirety. I decided, yes, I will cave in and read the manga. So I did over the last 24 hours, read it twice, because I'm a mad lad and it's really freaking good. So
Mad
anyway,
lad.
I mentioned to my
Love it.
alleged friend, Anime Uproar.
Anime Uproar.
I freaking love Garou. He's potentially my favorite character in One Punch Man.
Class.
The only character that comes close to him is Saitama, and honestly, I don't know who I prefer. And then, Anime Uproar replied to me, I like a ton of the characters in One Punch Man, but Garou is a trash character because he has no motive.
Oh.
So, being that I am an adult, my course of action was simple. I had several options. A, debate him for hours.
Makes
B,
sense.
make a video on Garou. Or C, tackle the topic of motive
Do all three at the same time?
together. Since, to be honest, I've heard this said an insurmountable amount of times, that it's a motive that makes a villain great. Now, being that I am a potentially psychopathic nutcase that relates to potentially psychopathic nutcase characters,
Yeah.
I vehemently disagree with this point. I don't think motive is the end-all to an anime villain,
Nah.
or any villain for that matter. I feel like motive is a great way to write a villain, but it's not the only way to write a great villain. So I decided I would research this point and talk about the genius of motiveless villains. To lay things out, as far as villains with motivation, I feel like they basically fall into two categories.
Okay, here we go.
Category A,
Personal motive?
motive. They want to take over the world, be the politically strongest, like you see in One Piece, become the most powerful, like you see in Bleach,
shall be stronger.
as well as many other personal goals. This is a motive per se, but not precisely something that I would relate to. I don't relate to Voldemort from Harry Potter,
No, true.
and therefore I don't consider him to be a brilliantly written villain. A terrifying one, yes,
Yeah, scary.
but not a brilliantly written one. The other style of villains with motive that I generally prefer would be a motive that
Ideology.
follows some form of ideology.
Right.
Someone like Stain
Oh,
from
God,
My
yeah.
Hero Academia that's killing heroes because he feels like that's the best way to better society.
Yeah.
Pain from Naruto because he wants to inject fear into the world by controlling this tailed beast weapon that can annihilate any country at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
If everyone fears him, then no one fights anyone, and the world is at peace. Or even someone like Light Yagami from Death Note.
Yeah.
A guy who has a Death Note that whoever he writes in the book dies, so he starts killing off all forms of villains and criminals and all-round bad people. Yes, he gets a lot of good people, especially the ones that are trying to chase him,
Whoa.
and the ones that are, unfortunately,
In his head.
misjudged and, let's say, imprisoned for the wrong reasons. Those people all die. He kills hundreds of thousands of people.
I have that
However,
fuck up.
it's said in part 2 of Death Note that over 70% of crime in the world has stopped
Yep.
because they're afraid of this seeming deity
Being-
like Kira,
killing them, yeah.
strike them down. Stain, Pain, and Light Yagami are 3 of my favorite anime villains.
They're brilliant.
However, they do follow a motive, and that motive isn't personal growth as much as it is an ideology. Yes, this
They
nihilistic
believe
path that Light Yagami
that
was
it's the
taking,
way.
where he was deciding who lives and dies, developed his hubris to an insane degree, where maybe he wasn't killing for his ideology anymore, but that's not the point. There is a solid ideology backing up the actions
Yep.
of all 3 of these villains. That's why they're 3 great villains, and that's my favorite way for motive to be written
But-
in a villain in general. Now, I say this as a quasi-introduction to what this video is really about, because I've seen this everywhere. I've heard literary teachers talk about this.
Really?
That, oh, the first thing you must do in writing a villain is writing a good motive. And I'm about to list you 4 villains from 4 different anime that are 4 of my favorite villains in anime.
That
and
don't
none of them
have
a
motive.
distinct motive.
Right.
There's Yarrow from
Yep,
One Punch
amazing.
Man, who's quickly rising the ranks to become my favorite villain ever. There's Crollo Lucifer from Hunter
Ah,
x Hunter.
yeah.
Yoshikage
So not
Kira
Meruem.
from
Meruem's
JoJo's
trying to take
Bizarre
over the
Adventure
wilderness.
Part 4.
Yeah.
And Gilgamesh, the king of heroes
Ugh.
from Fate Zero. Now, the reason why I've selected these 4 specific anime
I apologize
villains
for-
is simple.
Nah.
Firstly, I deeply love all 4 of these characters. They're all
Crollo
fantastic in their own
is
right.
class, like-
Secondly, none of them have a defined
Motive.
Yeah, what's driving Garo, or Crollo, or Kira, or Gilgamesh, which is the correct way to pronounce Gilgamesh.
Kira just
It's cultural
gets off on
appropriation.
killing
But alas,
people.
despite the fact that these are
Keeping
4
their hands and putting them in
widely
bags.
loved anime villains, none of them have defined motivations. What? Could it actually be that literary
My
teachers as well as anime
God.
are wrong, and a villain doesn't need a laid-out motivation
Motive?
to be a
My
great
God,
villain?
what is this mentality?
Fascinating. Seriously though, no shade at anyone. I understand the logic of motivation.
Yeah, it makes
matters,
sense,
but
like-
I just had personal different experiences with this stuff, and I like thinking out of the box. So if you disagree with this, feel free to let me know in the comments. Honestly, I am down to hear. However,
Let's get into the characters.
making fun at literary teachers in Animac is so much fun.
Mm.
Sorry, literary teachers in Animac. I love both of you. Mostly Animac. And I really thank you for prompting me to make this video, because it's not something I would have made without these.
Without it, yeah.
Link to Anime Uproar's channel is in the description. He makes great shiz, but he thinks villains needs motives.
So,
Alas,
lame.
no one is perfect. There is one underlying feature, though, that is present in all 4 of these characters that I've listed, and in every good anime villain that does not contain a straight-out motive. And that is a fascinating psychology. And take that with a grain of salt, as I am about to explain. Garo, the villain in One Punch Man that's killing heroes, plays with our minds from the moment he's introduced on
He
screen.
loves the
As
monsters.
I've mentioned in my introduction to Garo video, fam, he's treated like a protagonist. We're watching
Yeah, he is, yeah.
his eyes, his quest to become stronger. We're watching him get up from the hurdles he's facing and standing up no matter how many times he's thrown down. Throughout the manga, which I will not be spoiling
Cool,
here,
cool,
because
please don't,
that's
please
just
don't, please don't. Oh my
Ooh,
God.
everybody dies.
No.
Yeah. But anyway, it continues to point Garo out as a protagonist. All the chapters that he's on screen, I find myself rooting for the bastard, even though he's
the
fighting heroes
bad
for the sake
guy.
of hunting heroes and getting stronger. He calls himself a monster, but there's something massive at play here that distinguishes him from monsters. At this point in the manga, we know a lot of monsters, and we know Garo fairly well. Garo is one of the most human characters in One Punch Man, despite the fact that he's rapidly becoming a monster. As
yeah.
interesting as that may sound. He's mentioned in the manga. It doesn't say this in the anime. I don't know why. It's a little annoying. But when he was a kid and he was rooting for the villains, like the anime pointed out, he was watching anime or whatever, and Justice Man would save the day.
Yeah, yeah.
And he'd feel bad for the villains that were killed.
He'd be like, oh,
and when he'd play
why is
around
the bad
with
guy
his
never win?
friends in the playground, they would play heroes and monsters. And of course, the heroes would defeat the monsters in their imaginary D&D-esque game
Right.
they would play. Now, Garo then said, I feel bad for the monsters, though, because the sea monster that attacked the humans attacked because the humans were polluting his sea and killing off his fellow sea monster people. It's so sad that Justice Man killed him, just like everyone else. The monsters don't have a chance. And
Oh.
of course the kids laughed at him because this guy was threatening humanity and all that, and obviously the hero's duty is to save humanity and to save the day. That doesn't revoke the validity, though, in the words of Garo or in the ideology of this made-up monster. However, though, yes, this monster was written to have a good motivation, and it's that monster's very motivation that motivates Garo. Not that Garo is per se fighting for any specific motive or reasoning. It's not like he's aiming for some end goal aside from becoming more powerful.
Yeah.
But aside from the perspectable tricks that the series is playing in the way it treats Garo like a protagonist, the way I root for Garo, and the struggle that it shows when he gets up after losing a fight. But Garo really likes this kid that was showing him his hero
His book, yeah,
He ended
he's
up
like-
saving that kid. That kid has some really messed up stuff happen to him, and Garo saves him. Not because Garo's a hero, but because that's how Garo feels he should be acting at
Yeah,
a
he's-
given moment. That
he's
sea
very
monster in
interesting.
That show that Garo was defending had a valid ideology. However, being that it was treated as the monster, its ideology was snuffed away with its life force when Justice Man killed him. Just because something is treated as a villain or treated as a monster, whether in One Punch Man or in real life, that doesn't mean it's 100% invalid. Yes, the monster had to be dealt with, it was threatening humanity, but at the same time, humanity was poisoning that monster and its family with the pollution or whatever the plot point of that show that Garou was watching was. One of Garou's greatest attributes is his insane amounts of compassion. And despite the fact that he's fighting tons of heroes, beating them to pulps, yet not killing a single one,
Yeah, he just puts them in the hospital, doesn't he? So they can all get a banana.
For no basic ideology aside from getting stronger, and yet he still twists our hand, forcing us to acknowledge him as one of the most compassionate characters in the One Punch Man series.
Hell yeah.
That's what makes him so fascinating. It's the blatant paradox in his every action. He's dreaming to be a monster, but as the monsters themselves have mentioned, his feet are rooted deeply into humanity. This is not my character analysis on Garou, because I have a lot to say that I intend to say on a different date.
Hell yeah.
So feel free to subscribe if you'd like to hear me talk about Garou in depth. As
Cool.
a character, aside from just how well
Nice
he serves the
delivery
purpose of
there.
a villain, even though he doesn't have a directed motive. Garou changed how I looked at the series, how I looked at him, and how I looked at myself. No one is freaking perfect in this world. There's no ideal perfect hero, aside from like
Moomin Rider.
that's taking down the ultimate
Yeah,
villain.
man.
The world is not black and white, like hero versus villains in the TV shows seem to say it is. Garou is the embodiment of morally gray, hunting heroes yet being compassionate simultaneously, and that's what makes him so interesting. He's the most real character in One Punch Man, despite the fact that every single time they seem to kill him, he just gets up strong.
It's just, I'm coming back and I'm gonna screw your
That
face.
excites me. Imagine
In
how
the floor.
terrifying that is, because he is a ruthless-seeming villain. Now, touching on character psychology, and why Garou is so interesting because of how I can see his non-ideological philosophy in this everyday life and how people are treated in this very world, but on a more personal level, Frollo Lucifer from Hunter x Hunter does a much better job at tackling a major issue, and that would be the inability to understand himself. So I did a full video on the psychology of Frollo, and it made him one of my favorite anime characters, that's for sure. On first watching of Hunter x Hunter, out of the three major antagonists being Hisoka, Meruem, and Frollo, he was my least favorite by quite a bit. But after rewatching it and rewording it in the form of that character analysis I've previously mentioned, that will be linked at the end of the video or whatever, he easily jumped the rankings as one
He's
of my
boss.
favorite anime villains. Frollo does not have motive, and that's exactly what makes him an interesting villain. He's someone who wanders around looking for purpose in himself, and he
Right, yeah, he.
he's
right,
someone who
himself
doesn't
isn't trying.
understand
Yeah,
the
they go
tragic
get a
of
job.
the position
Boom,
he's
boom,
in,
boom.
with no one he can truly feel love to, and no one that truly loves him. The Phantom Troop acts like a family where they care for each other and
Yep.
take revenge for one another, but at the same time, for Frollo, it's more going through the motions than actually feeling emotions.
Interesting.
The thing Frollo fights most in the entirety of Hunter x Hunter is himself. He cannot, for the life of him, understand his own identity, who he is, or what purpose he possesses. And so he wanders. So he's formed the Phantom Troop, this incredibly talented group of people
The Phantom
that
Troop's so
basically do
freaking
whatever
cool.
the hell they want. And the reason for this is Meteor City, his home, was destroyed, and at this point he feels nothing. He's on a journey to feel something, and he doesn't even know where to begin. This tragic state of Frollo's being is an over-personification of something a lot of people feel. Someone like me, who has been in depressed states in the past, can relate to this on a very deep level.
Yeah.
I understand the feeling of not understanding myself, and Frollo's narrative hurts me so much because he doesn't even know he doesn't understand himself. Frollo is one of my favorite villains because he has no motive. It's
Yeah, man.
because he has no motive that he cuts me so deep when he does anything in Hunter x Hunter. When his powers are sealed, these insanely intricate Nen powers that he's been working at for
Yeah.
years, that he's been amassing and becoming stronger and stronger. When Kurapika sealed them, he didn't even feel sad.
Nah, he wasn't bothered, was he? He was just like, right, that's
Ground
it.
didn't break. For him, it's just the next step forward, and he.
I gotta carry on now.
Maybe this will help him find himself. Depression is a seemingly endless chasm, and Frollo was falling through it. That's why I relate to him to such a deep level, and that's why it's so much more powerful that he has no motive. Now, on an opposite tangent from depression, we have something else that a lot of people struggle through. In fact, I think most people struggle through it for at least one point or another, and some people don't have it quite so much, and that would be Gilgamesh's pride. Gilgamesh is a
man.
servant summoned to take place in the Holy Grail War. Now, he is someone who
cool.
sees everything as beneath him.
Yeah.
Because he is the King of Kings.
King of Kings.
The one where everything in the universe belongs to him, where everyone else is just his plaything. The reason why
He's amazing.
Fate Zero is one of my favorite anime is because every single character, be it a master or a servant, they each individually have a fascinating ideology for what pushes them forward, and they're an embodiment of different ideals. Kiritsugu is utilitarianistic, and his servant Saber is completely noble, which are intuitively two entirely opposite ideals despite the fact they're working together. Everyone is gunning for the Grail for their own motive except for Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh seemingly wants the Grail,
don't really care.
or at least will take place in the battle, because the Grail is already his. All the wonders
Everything
of the world
belongs to
him,
me.
and so therefore he'll play around in this little game, because why the
not?
F not?
Yeah,
Fate
why
Zero
not?
summons many different servants from many different timelines, and many of them exhibit pride. Saber has a pride in
He's
herself.
the oldest
Ryder
hero
has a
in
pride
history,
himself,
isn't he?
But Gilgamesh's is above and beyond anything that we see here. His pride overtakes even his ambitions, and it turns him into the perfect jester character. He's a character that's manipulating things behind the scenes for the sake of manipulating them. Normally,
Just,
being
like, why
bad
not?
for the sake
Yeah,
of
have
being
fun.
bad is not the type of character anyone wants in any form of media. It's a character that's not interesting psychologically and not interesting motive-wise or ideologically. Gilgamesh isn't evil for the sake of evil. He isn't per se even evil.
No.
He's enigmatic, he's prideful, he's dangerous.
Very
and he
dangerous.
plays by his own rules. He'll poke and prod Kirei to even kill his own master and take over because
Just 'cause
that
it's fun.
interests him.
Yeah.
I decided to talk about Gilgamesh here as opposed to a character like Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter or Izaya from Durarara, because I feel like Gilgamesh's contrast to every other character in the series gives a much better perspective on what I'm trying to get at. He's manipulative, he's smug, and the bastard wears a glowing gold armor.
Yeah, it looks so
For
cool.
God's sake, you're not sneaking up on anyone like that.
Nah,
Yuki.
he isn't, is he?
So
He
he's an
cling,
insufferable,
cling.
arrogant brat to deal with at first. As the series goes on,
Oh.
and he just exudes more and more prideful confidence in his seemingly insurmountable abilities, we find ourselves respecting him. I find myself respecting this glowing gold glorious a-hole. And the scariest thing is, other characters are starting to respect him as well. In the Banquet of Kings, to an extent,
Oh, yeah, with
Saber
Ryder
does
and
revere
Saber,
Tim and Ryder, and Ryder does look up to Gilgamesh, with Gilgamesh not looking back at Ryder. He respects Ryder for who he is, but he doesn't see him
For accepting
as
that he's a
weak.
king.
At the end of the day, after his fight with Ryder, he walks up to Waver Velvet and says to him, if you still see Ryder as your king, hold his ideals within your heart.
Yeah.
Gilgamesh is not evil. He's by no means
Because if he was, he would have
compassionate,
just
but he is
struck him
someone
down like that, wouldn't he?
deserves respect.
I love that you
And
keep
if
Weaver
you can
alive.
respect a ruthless, pompous, prideful, overpowered,
And soon we're gonna find out what
scheming,
happened to him.
backstabbing villain, then that makes him freaking
Lord Illinois
fascinating.
2's case
So
files.
despite the fact that Garo, Crollo, and
In
Gilgamesh are all villains without motives per se, they all tackle an extremely different psychological point that makes them so fascinating. Gilgamesh, a villain that I can look up to, despite all of his horrible traits. Crollo, a villain that I so deeply relate to, despite the horrible acts he's committing. And
Yeah.
Garo, a character that I root for
That's such a
understanding
cool
the moral
picture.
rage
That's
of the world,
awesome.
Despite the fact that he's a horrible paradox of a very human being. These are three different ways to take this route.
Well, that's
but
cool
of
pictures
course,
to show
is
through paths.
Yoshikage Kira from JoJo,
Oh,
as I've mentioned before.
yes.
Kira, my favorite villain in JoJo so far, hands down. I
Yep.
haven't read part 7. I'm sorry, I will. Don't worry, never
Oh, I'm
fear.
still not.
However,
I'm only partway
you
in part
can't
5.
deny that Kira is a genius villain.
Yeah,
Made
he's
a video
class.
as well, so we won't really be going too in depth here. And I understand that I'm basically fueling the meme fire at this point with those literally nobody memes. I literally hate those memes. Kira
They
chops
annoyed
the
me.
hand off a random woman and starts sucking on the amputated finger.
Finger, yeah.
Literally nobody. Nux Taku. I relate to that. Yes, I know. It's hilarious. it's kind of sad, not gonna lie. However, let's not deny that Kira's a great villain regardless.
It's so
But what
weird.
makes him a great
Ah.
villain? Well, chasing his boner. The guy
It really is, just like, it gets him off.
mass murder. But he's very meticulous. We see things from his perspective for a large part of the series, and what's really scary about Kira is despite the fact that he has no motive, we rationalize with him. We start to see things from his perspective and we understand where he's coming from.
Yeah,
This is
weird.
the most morose villain you could think of. Someone purely driven by his own lustful desires and hurting countless of innocents because of it. Kira is the exact quintessential
Like, if he
societal
wanted to, like,
monster
be a
that
mad
we all
badass,
see as
he
a
could just
monster.
go around
But
killing
the way
people,
Kira's
like,
story
left, right, and
takes
centre, but he
place
doesn't.
Is that we start seeing things from his perspective, him trying to blend in with a family, him trying to control his urges,
It's amazing when
not
that
to get
happens.
caught, him just wanting to live a peaceful, quiet
Just
life,
leave
and
me
we
be.
relate to Kira. Not perhaps to the point that we're gonna go start killing women.
Yeah, and cut off their hands and keep them as
Fucking
trophies.
Or
and-
guys! Look, you can kill guys and cut their hands off and suck on their fingers. That's totally okay too. What am I defending here? Gender equality?
No!
It's not a gender equality video. You're gonna cut the hand off a woman, cut the hand off a man too. Where was I? Oh yeah. It's true.
Yeah,
Kira's,
the,
sexual
Kira bit.
fetishes are slightly weirder than most. I mean, not all. I've seen some really creepy Sonic pictures floating around Twitter.
Yeah, there are some
and
weird ones.
honestly, makes Kira look pretty normal. Not normal. I would totally go on a date with this guy normal. But normal, I can sort of relate to hand fetish more than creepy CGI monsters.
Yeah.
Not that hand fetishes
Yeah.
are good, especially when it involves killing the participant and cutting their hands off. Let's not get into this discussion today, okay? But the fact that you can see through the eyes of a quintessential dark side of society, which is literally what Kira represents because the town of Morio is the main character of JoJo's Part 4, and he is the deep, dark underbelly of society. He is the monster lurking in the shadows that you don't even know about
Sometimes.
in your very own town. Maybe he's not as creepy as Kira, maybe he can't blow shiz up, but you get my drift. And despite the fact that he's the most horrid, quintessential monster, seeing through his eyes, seeing him be meticulously just trying to live a normal life, the rationalization felt towards Kira is terrifying on a meta level. That's why Kira is one of the most brilliant villains, despite the fact that he has no motive. Not only despite the fact, but he's brilliant because he has no motive. He's brilliant because he's the least relatable villain you could think of, but you relate to him once you see through his eyes,
Yeah.
no matter how twisted his worldview is. So, do I think a villain needs a motive?
No.
Well, have you been watching his video? Like,
I know, isn't that the whole
you
playlist?
can't get rewards with lesbian- No! A villain does not need a motive. However, I feel like a villain without a motive is much harder to write correctly than a villain with one. A villain with a powerful ideology that calls philosophical questions into light is generally my go-to as far as anime villains, or as far as any villains. As far as interesting characters, that's kind of what I'm looking for. But the villains that really pull me into their world, that really fascinate me, are the ones with no motive that I still love. The crazy psychopath villains that I relate to. Maybe I relate to them because I'm a psycho sociopath.
Maybe that's the case,
nutcase
Nux.
that likes memes maybe a little bit too much. But even if that's the case, granted, I relate to Garo, Crollo, Gilgamesh, and Kira. That is exactly what is so terrifying about a motiveless villain. I do thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'm very curious to hear your take in the comments, because this is a video going against the fabric of society itself. Well, not really, but yes, really. Feel free to subscribe for future anime videos that you never knew you wanted. Future One Punch Man videos, JoJo, Fate Zero, Hunter x Hunter. I love all of those.
They're
shizzles.
amazing shows, aren't
I
they?
may be
Oh.
making videos on all of those shizzles. Feel free to check out my other satire or analysis
Hell
content.
yes, the channel's
That would
just
be
amazing.
Very cool. Link in the description to my Twitter. Feel free to follow me there for the power of memes.
I reckon
as well
I
as updates and
would
other cool
recommend
stuff.
following
Link
Nux
in
on
the
Twitter,
description
it's
as
pretty
well
good,
to
like.
my Patreon. All patrons are invited to the Discord server where we hang out and make fun of me for relating to every single sociopathic anime character ever. Wonder what that says about me. I would like to especially thank David Anon, Negus Nogus, Burning Bush, Rise Warren, Sage of Snake, Wilson Fletcher, King Sparky65, The Unknown Otaku, Lazy Ronan,
King
Kurt
Meat,
Worm, Jim
Beat
Alice,
by
Trigger,
Meat.
The Wolf of Gar, JD Fincher, Q-Tippy, Laser, The Ethan, Ray,
Frisky
Landing, Nick
Dingo.
Fans, King Tank Games, Kevin McCline, Jordan, White Noise 32, Nasty Frank's Barbecue, Stanley Ramsrude, Best is Daddy Cross, Mitchell Garnett, Miriam Ramirez, Chezzy, Hammers the Great, Praise Lord the
God,
Gilgamesh.
so many
Billy Thomas,
patrons.
Serial Flex Offender, Sheenon Self says, JJ Slave Rams, The Night Bright, Sergeant Malarkey, LJ, Kaiser Wanar, Dan Soko, Divine Reigns, Teakui, Exiled, Skylar Lake, Samuel Guzman, Burning Halo, Karma, and TM Philly. Thanks to the Lord Tweaker Rank,
Lord
Anthony
Tweaker Rank.
Cubs is the man, Ultra 13 Baby Ray, Matthew Yang, MD Adria Pica, Sosa Verified, Everest Esposito, and Kyle the
Nice.
Warrior. Thanks to the God Usopp Rank, Dark Element, Eduardo Flores, Boozerker, Muafak, Necro, Sunny Parks, Maurice Luis Dreyfus, and Gintama for life. And thank you to the man, the myth, the legend, Steve. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it, and perhaps you can see Villains Without Motives in a different light because they're sometimes really awesome.
I like them.
Sometimes even better. Link to Anime Uproar's channel is in the description. He did inspire me to make this video, even though it was sort of by accident. He really is a great dude and makes great videos. So feel free to check him out and send him some cringe in the comments. Stop relating to anime sociopaths, because that's weird. But then again, remember to stay weird, fam.
Nice. Cool. Cool video. I like villains that don't have motive. I like the unpredictability of it. Don't know what they're gonna do. Kira's a really good one. Kira's just really weird. You're like, what's he doing? But then as he's going on, you're like, oh, is he gonna get caught? 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 How's he gonna get away with this? How's he gonna get away with this? It's just like, ah. Yeah. So thank you guys very much for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already, leave comments down below. Let me know if you're watching and discuss it in future videos. And I'll see you guys. So you guys.